So the ex-CEO of Binance, CZ, was just pardoned by the US president. Does this mean that there's new competition in town for crypto.com, for all these other exchanges that are here in the USA? We've seen crypto.com corner this US market. And one thing I think that had crypto.com in a position where there wasn't a ton of competition, you got Robinhood, you got Coinbase, was the fact that Binance, the world's largest exchange, was not currently present in this US market. But now we are seeing the president pardon the Binance founder CZ. And surprisingly, you'd think maybe the price of this coin would be shooting up today, the BNB token, and it's up 6%. But that's not as much as you might expect. Let's talk a little bit about what this means for Binance, for the crypto industry, for crypto.com. Look at some comments from some of the other executives and leaders in the crypto space and their thoughts on this in this video. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. Welcome back to the Crypto Report, everybody. I am Crypto Kip. Currently, after we saw the excitement in the crypto market, I actually did open up a little bit of a short on Bitcoin that is already $250 in the profit. And I've got my stop loss set, which was way above. And I'm actually going to pull that stop loss down so that, basically I'm only risking a little bit on this one, but in a little 10x position because the crypto market pumped, but there is still some bearish. There's a bearish thing out there, which is tariffs starting potentially on November 1st. So whether you want to long or short the market, again, there is volatility in this market day in, day out where you can trade. So in the affiliates down below, there's a link for BTCC where you can get a 10% deposit bonus. If your first deposit's over $500, you can get a 10% deposit bonus on anything you put in there when you sign up using that link. So check it out. Let's look at this story in detail. So yes, the president pardoned the Binance founder CZ. Now, previously, CZ went to prison for about 4 months, and this was a big story that was kind of crazy, where the accusations were money laundering and I believe fraud. Going against international sanctions was one thing that CZ was accused about from the DOJ. And he did serve 4 months, I believe, in prison. And now the president has pardoned him, basically totally excusing him from any potential other lawsuits that might come down on him or any other crimes that might be coming here. He's got a pardon, which is really, really wild. Already served his sentence, but got a pardon. And what we've seen is a lot of people talking about CZ and this ex-CEO from Binance and actually getting upset with him over manipulation lately. And we still don't really know if CZ is manipulating the market behind the scenes with folks over at Binance or what's going on there. But it doesn't really matter now, I guess, because they got a presidential pardon. And so when you do look, now, if you take a look at some of the top exchanges out there, you're going to see that Binance is ranked number 1. Behind it is Coinbase at number 3 and Crypto.com at number 11. Now, Crypto.com is one of the biggest the largest presence in North America right now. But this pardon from the president could allow Binance to increase their footprint here in the U.S. market. So maybe that is going to be more fierce competition from Binance for the crypto industry here against Crypto.com in the USA. I still do believe that Crypto.com is an advantage due to all the regulatory clarity that they've made progress on over the last few years. You've seen them get so many different licenses in a variety of countries across the globe. But there's no doubt that this presidential pardon is a big story. For the crypto industry overall, I think it's a big story. Now, the founder of Cardano, Charles Hoskinson, actually is congratulating CZ here, which I'm a little surprised, but actually not really, and I'll talk about why. President has corrected a grave injustice, the weaponization of the Justice Department against our industry and its entrepreneurs should have never happened. It was still a deep wound that will take a long time to heal. Charles, the founder of Cardano, was upset that CZ went to prison Because really, when they were accusing him of money laundering and going around international sanctions, really, it wasn't like him directly. It was just people able to use his exchange, use DeFi, and send transactions using the Binance exchange and network. He was the fall guy for that. And really, what Charles is making the point of is this is crypto. Anybody should be able to use finances, but there are certain groups that, obviously U.S. government certainly does not want to be able to have these on ramps and off ramps, and probably for good reason, right? There's some bad people out there, and maybe those bad people were using the Binance platform. But is that directly CZ's fault? No, not really. Maybe they could have some restrictions, but at the same time, crypto is all about decentralization, and I think they've kind of tried to stay true to that. One of the flaws with Binance has been is that they didn't really go through any regulatory the regulatory hurdles that they should have done, like Crypto.com has done, which is why I think that CZ got in trouble, because he just kind of launched a bunch of products across the globe and ended up kind of going against international sanctions and served his time. But now he has a presidential pardon, and I do think there's a good point here that, it is bad for the crypto industry to throw the leaders of this innovative asset class into prison. But if they are guilty of legitimate crimes, they should be held responsible for that. So if it's proven that CZ is manipulating the market, I would still like to see him get held responsible, but there is no evidence, direct evidence for that. You see people speculating on X about that all the time, but we do not have any direct evidence of that at this time. I do also think that it's funny. Of course, Charles is going to, want to congratulate CZ and say that this is bad, against the industry and the entrepreneurs, because he is also an industry leader and an entrepreneur. So, of course, he doesn't want to see people go into prison, because he also wouldn't want to go to prison as well. Now, I think this is part of the reason we're getting a little bit of a crypto pump today. So that is something that we saw a little bit of a recovery for Bitcoin on the weekly time frame. Bitcoin is still below this trend line. If this weekly candle can close above this $111,000 price level, we could continue to the upside here. If our weekly candle closes below this range for Bitcoin, we are at risk of lower prices for Bitcoin before we find new highs, whether that is in 400 days or whether that's in 4 days. You need to see Bitcoin really break back above this range, I think, and move to higher prices, break through this level of resistance and get on its way back up sooner rather than later. Otherwise, we could find some lower prices. So that is part of the reason I'm in a short. Also, I do believe that the fact that gold is going back up is not necessarily the best thing for Bitcoin right now. Gold is mounting a recovery, but if all of a sudden Fed rate cuts come along, gold crashes, the tariff fears subside, because those tariff impacts on China are going live November. There's a lot of things that could flip the market bullish. The government shutdown ending could crash gold and soar Bitcoin. These are things I'm looking at for the bullish side. I am generally bullish on the crypto industry, but I am skeptical and fearful of a bear market, and I am paying close attention. So if you guys want to pay close attention as well, subscribe to the channel for more content. I'll keep the updates coming here in the Crypto Report. Smash like, subscribe to the channel, do your own research, my friends. 2 videos here if you want to check them out. I'll see you in the next one, y'all. Peace.